They call me the Count. I love to count. One cookie. No. Two cookie. Three cookie. Etc. But there's something I like to do more than count. I like to drink. Though not wine. No, I do not drink wine. Though I offer you wine, Mr. Renfield. I am so happy you have come from England to help with this is my plan for a relocation. You know I'm a very rich man. Oh, yes, sir, yes, I've come here on business. Yeah, the people at the inn said, don't go. What are you going to meet somebody? You're going up there at midnight? Ah, what are you doing? And I told them, I said, it's a matter of business. Old Renfield is in for an interesting introduction into the variations on business. He's very slow too. I mean, first he ignores, the people. Everybody go, oh no, please bring a cross with you at least, or a wooden stake or something. What the hell are you talking about? I've got my American Express card. What more do I need? So he takes his stagecoach up. Somebody is willing to for a small fortune, because Renfield is from the rich, the rich place, England, and he's there on business. So, sir, I can bring you up there. It will cost you more money than I expect to make next year, other than what I'm charging you. So, but I do not promise to help you out of the carriage or anything. When we get to the pass, I will throw your bag off the top, and I'll tell, get out, right away, get out. Then you will get out. Okay, and I will get the hell out of there. Because I don't know what kind of whoopie poopy goes up to Transylvania, Count Dracula's place, and hangs out at midnight for a ride. So anyway, the driver gets the hell out of there, and no sooner has the driver kind of gone faster than he ever went in that carriage and those horses. No sooner has he left than another carriage comes up almost out of nowhere. And Renfield goes, oh, good, I'm glad you've come. I was getting a little nervous. I don't, I'm sorry. I never really properly introduced this whole subject. I like to compare films. And there are two films about a blood-sucking person, something like that, who's a lot older than he looks, even though Anyway, and he has certain mysterious ways about him that you prefer not to learn firsthand what they are. So one is called Nosferatu, and the other is called Dracula, and they're about the same ploy. One of them is a scary movie. The other one is a comedy. Though it probably wasn't intended to be. I love those unintended comedies. They're the best kind. And Renfield, he's like just this star comedian. He's just such a kamobuku. I'm gonna go up and meet the guy at midnight on the pass because it's business. So anyway, he runs up to the coach that comes so quickly, the guy driving is a kind of taciturn guy. He just kind of points, go down there, and Renfield gets in, and then carriage takes off really fast to this like craggy thing, this castle thing on the end of the crag, and the crag is at the end of a ridge. It's like a roadway made out of the rock that if you go a little bit too far off to one side or the other, it's cuckoo, way down in the valley so low. I don't want to go there. Although, I'm not sure if I want to go to Count Dracula's castle either. But Renfield is not me. Renfield is a businessman, and therefore Renfield is not yet getting overly concerned. Becoming he's getting these like intimations, like, is this business, this real estate deal just exactly what we're talking about here? Is there something else going on here? Well, but he doesn't ask such questions. He's a businessman and he's looking for all the money he's gonna make on this real estate transaction. So the carriage is going really fast. And he's getting shaken all around. And he gets a little upset about this fact. And so he sticks his head out the window and up to the driver on top and goes, "Driver, driver!" And he was about to say, "What are you going so fast for?" But he doesn't. Because the driver, apparently, he can't quite see because it's up in the back where the driver must be. Because the driver's got to be back there. He's left the reins down, and there's nobody in the driver's seat. But there is a large bat kind of leading the horses. And what's more, there's a really pretty powerful flashlight lighting up the bat, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see anything. So Renfield goes, "What the frick is this driver doing?" Letting go of the reins and shining a flashlight on a bat that happens to be flying in front of the horses. But anyway, he's kind of like in the midst of kind of wondering what this is all about when all of a sudden he's there. Pulls up to the castle, boom. And he gets out of the carriage, and he's a little angry at the driver for pulling this stunt, letting go of the reins, going in the back and shining a flashlight. Especially since this is 1843, I believe. Well, they were experimenting with these, candle flashlights or something. I don't know. I mean, that must have been it. And I was going through Renfield's mind. That guy's one of those newfangled candle flashlights. And he's testing it out. He's noticed that there's a bat flying in front of the horses, and so therefore he wants to shine a light, but for some reason he doesn't want to sit in the driver's seat. He's got to be back there. So anyway, Renfield's going through all this in his mind, and he gets out and he wants to say, "Driver, I'm not sure I appreciate this. I felt my life somewhat at risk, being that there was this precipitous drop on either side, and we were bouncing up and down like habokalakas." And he gets out and there's no driver. Not even a bat. Nothing. I mean, there's the horses. And just as he's kind of pondering that new realization, well, wait a minute, we just arrived here. The driver somebody drove this thing. So, well, and fortunately, he doesn't have to do too much thinking. Renfield gets tired thinking. So, because the door just opened up. And at first, he was really freaked out. But then he noticed the little electric eye thing above the door, and they go, oh, okay, I get it, okay. Another one of those newfangled things. There are these little hamsters, that are kind of hanging out, and they're looking, And when somebody comes to the door, they start, and that sets a whole Rube Goldberg kind of thing in motion, and has the castle door open. Or so Renfield assumes. I mean, I think by this time he's going into hyperdrive about, well, I'll accept any possible explanation for anything except the fact that I think I'm going to die soon. Because I really don't want to acknowledge that. Because after all, I'm a businessman and I'm not ready to die. Which, in fact, he didn't. Well, it's kind of hard to say exactly what it was that happened to him. So, well, the door opens and there's Dracula. Count Dracula. Very debonair guy holding a candelabra, and he goes, hello, how you doing, buddy? It's so good to see you. No, of course he doesn't talk like that at all. He goes, oh, Mr. Renfield, it's good to see you. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. I trust that you had a good ride in your in my stagecoach or thingamabobber. And Renfield was about to say, when he said, oh, well, never mind that. Come, follow me. And they walk a little ways into the castle. I mean, this is big entree, a big, hallway. And there are these big stairs going up. And Dracula just starts walking up the stairs. Now, Renfield, who by this time was getting used to things being not exactly what he was expecting, but still everything's kind of hunky-dory, he hopes, If I could just stay a businessman through this night, everything's gonna be okay, I'm sure. So anyway, he does a little bit of a double take. I mean, he's getting used to unusual things. But he notices that Dracula is one of those guys who believes in natural aging processes and natural cleaning, ecological cleaning methods, meaning things like you allow the cobwebs to form and eventually time will take care of them. So Renfield notices that there's like 4 inches thick set of cobwebs in front of the stairway. And Dracula just kind of walked right through it. And Renfield goes, the holographic stuff that this guy, he's at one of these hobbyists. He's in the holograms. Really nifty. That looks like a frickin' cobweb that you just walked through. And he goes, wow, I can't wait to walk through this hologram. And he starts to go in, and fortunately he has a little, he's an Englishman, so he's got an umbrella, of course. And he comes up to it, and he says, I'm going to I want to stick my umbrella through this hologram, right? But the umbrella starts to get all stuck in it, and he's kind of struggling with it. He finally breaks through this cobweb because it's sticky and disgusting, and he's kind of even thinking that maybe he's got to throw this umbrella away. He's hoping that it's not going to rain, but that's a problem because he's going back to England with this guy, and it's definitely going to rain. He's going to have to just really stick it, sort of like, the spider in that Frodo got wrapped in, Shebob or something, something like that. The spider, the big spider, big spider, and it was like, oh, that icky boogie. You put your hand in that shit and call Anyway, my wife and I visited the motherhood home of Sese something Mobutu, the strong-arm guy that presided over the complete destruction of the Congo. I mean, the Belgians did their best to destroy it, and he came along and ran it even further into the ground. But anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. I just said Mobutu by accident. I really didn't mean to say that. I was just making up some nonsense syllables, and I said Mobutu, and I realized, well, it was crazy. We were in the middle of Africa, where dirt roads, dirt roads, dirt roads. I mean, dirt roads, like when it's the rainy season, people don't go nowhere. That's how back, I mean, this is hundreds of miles of this kind of stuff through the jungle. And we were bicycling through the middle of frickin' Nowheresville when all of a sudden the road was paved and there are streetlights. And we come upon a dairy. a dairy. We had ice cream. In the frickin' middle of nowhere where there's no electricity, except not in this town. Mobutu's mother's town has electricity. It has a Swiss dairy farm. It's Gabalakuku. We went with these Swiss farmers that were imported to provide Mobutu with fresh butter every day. I mean, they have an airplane go just to bring him his fresh butter. Ay. Anyway, that was real. I mean, I'm not sure about all the details according to the 1932 movie. I'm not sure they really did everything exactly according to the true history of Count Dracula. So anyway, so if I have a few of the facts wrong, I'm sorry. But I did. Okay. So anyway, we're almost finished with this. I mean, you get the idea. Oh, I know. So they go up and they have dinner. Dinner, except there's this big table and Renfield's seated at this sumptuous setting, and Dracula goes and appears with dinner, and you wonder, where are the servants around here? I mean, he's kind of wondering. This is a very strange setup. I mean, this big, fancy, super rich guy doesn't even have anybody else living here, or so it seems. And, he sits down to have dinner, and Dracula comes and says, would you like some wine? And Renfield goes, oh, yes, I would. And he says, aren't you going to have some? And Dracula says, I don't drink wine. And he's looking at the carotid artery, of Renfield right there. There's a little bit of, you could just barely see the pulse. Kaboom, bagoom, gagoom. And he's looking down there and he's thinking, I can't wait for this wine to knock this guy out so I can drink his blood in peace. And he's like, he just can't resist. And he gets closer and closer and closer. And just paguli like this, the cross that the woman at the inn gave him just falls out. He's wearing it around his neck, and somehow it just falls out of his shirt. So it's out in the open, and the Count goes, the fool! And Renfield goes, what do you have? Are you allergic to something? And he says, but it doesn't really matter, because by that time, the very old wines make its effect. And no sooner does Renfield swoon on the floor than 3 or 4 or 5 Dracula's wives appear very hungry. And they start going closer and closer. And Dracula comes and goes, Bawov Sakabana! Get out of here! I drink first. After I finish drinking, you guys can have some. But don't kill him. I need him. So you cannot drink much more than just a little bit. If you want to drink something else, I mean, maybe you could give him a little head or something, but don't drink too much of the blood. Because I need him. So, I don't really have much more to say. It all kind of it deteriorates after that for Renfield. I mean, he's a slave, you know. Master, what can I do for you, master? I'm eating all sorts of rats and things so that I can take their blood and you can drink my blood. Oh, master, Now, Nosferatu, very different film. It was made about 10 years earlier. Murnau is the director's name, and the main actor, or the guy who plays Nosferatu, happens to have the same name. This is what a coincidence. Just the actual actor happened. I mean, I guess he was named after the guy who founded Shrek Enterprises. You know, Batman 2, Catwoman, you know, Max Shrek. The one who, pushes Batwoman out. I mean, she's not Batwoman yet, or Catwoman, that's right, she's not Batwoman. She is a very troubled young lady, and as much as, she's lonely and old Brucey baby is lonely, they ain't gonna get together because she's a freaking cat and he's a freaking bat, and it just doesn't work, Just doesn't work. But anyway, that's just the link there. I mean, Max Schreck, the actual actor that played Nosferatu, I guess apparently was named after Max Schreck, the fictional character in the 1980s version of Batman 2, right? So, I mean, that... Maybe I have that backwards. Could it, maybe Max Schreck, the fictional character was... Oh, never mind, it's too complicated. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. No. It doesn't really matter. At all. Not at all, baby poo. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, anyhow, any poopaloo and staboogie and flagoogie and the boopy scooby flooby tooby too. And Flintstones, vitamins to hooba-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see, product tie-in from the 80s, I think, or 70s. Scooby-Doo and Flintstones, vitamins too. It was just such a thought, Oh, they're pairing these two things. They're conditioning people to think of Flintstones vitamins when they watch Scooby-Doo. It's the beginning of a new thing. Hypnotism, product tie-ins, etc. It's all part of the same. Same old. Let's see. Oh, we have another 3 minutes, so let's see. What do we got? This has really got to be one of the less comfortable situations that I've put myself in to film for a half hour at a time. I mean, what the fuck was I thinking? Well, the problem was the computer's out of juice. My camcorder just doesn't hack it with the light. So this is my phone, and I've got to hold the phone, but I've got to be in my head down, keeping my head down. I'll stretch my back so you can walk all over me, but I'm keeping my head down. I'm trying to look for some chocolate. Where did that chocolate go? I want my chocolate. Where's the chocolate? Where's the mother frickin' chocolate? Come on, you poopy, glow poopy. I said I want some chocolate. Where's my chocolate? Oh, well. Oh, well. Life. Interesting proposition. Some people decide to live fully based on what they feel in their heart of hearts is right. Most people whom I've met, they just don't feel themselves qualified, capable of believing in their own two eyes, their own two ears, their own nose and mouth and nostrils. It's really the start. It's really the ability to put together in your head, put things together in ways that make sense to you. Is this my finger in front of this? That's what it is, isn't it? Yep, that was my finger. So we're coming up to the end of our half hour. I enjoy kind of just letting the thoughts go and